We'll do a bunch of stuff. I love that tune.
Hello and good evening. Welcome to Field Talk. I am the Field, also known as Field of Bears, here to remind you that socialism always ends in starvation and genocide. Alright. Now, a lot of people, they like to counter your arguments by saying, oh, you're just angry, oh, you're just mad, oh, you seem kind of upset. Well, you know what? Sometimes upset is the proper reaction. Sometimes anger is the proper emotion to feel. Sometimes downright fury is justified. So I don't want to. I don't understand why people might criticize for being criticize the emotion of anger, because I am downright livid at the moment. I am furious. What the hell is that? I think that the helicopter just flew over my house. Lovely. Drills. So I know that I don't look or sound terribly angry at the moment, but that's just because I am beyond yelling and shouting. I am beyond the throes of passion. I am furious. So let's get right into it. One, two. Wow. You know what? I'm going to try and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and thank you for being here, one person who's here. Thank you very, very much. Go here. I'm just going to go ahead and tag some of the regulars. Who else? Who else? Who else is there? Hopefully they'll see that. But I'll just go ahead and get started here. I don't think I'm going to take very long on it. Starting a little bit late here. Not off to a very good start. What happens when I'm not consistent on Hollywood and tweets? Two things. First, I understand that there's a genre of humor that attempts to turn the stomach as its goal. Second, James Gunn and Michael Ian Black can go jump off a pier with a millstone. The whole point of those old tweets was to disgust, then congratulations, I'm disgusted. If it was to make me laugh, then the mission failed. I can get the argument against using a Twitter outrage mob against these men because that just perpetuates outrage culture. I wish that same argument was used in favor of Roseanne Barr. Ben, because it is a powerful argument. But here's the thing. I'm not saying these people should be hunted down or deplatformed or harassed or arrested for what they said. What I am saying is it isn't funny, and it's pretty gross. What I am saying is I don't feel inclined to stand against the outrage mob. In all honesty, I don't think this is manufactured. I saw Cerno simply report on these old tweets, and he didn't tell me how to feel about them. He didn't have to. I'm not going to read those tweets to you. I'm just not. Luckily, I'm not a journalist, and less luckily, you've probably seen it already anyway. Usually I can separate the art from the artist. Since most artists these days are kind of swine. However, when it comes to saying awful things about kids, it's much more difficult. There's a reason I don't find out what actors or other Hollywood types think about abortion. I am no longer cool with watching Guardians of the Galaxy or Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I just can't do it without thinking of the director's despicable driveling. I'm the kind of dude who wants to watch films without a bucket handy for sudden retching up of my lunch, but I suppose I'm just a little weird like that. Each one of these, taken on its own, might be taken as the fumbling attempts at shock humor that is best left on the chance. But then you realize that these were 40-year-old men. Yeah, no, I'm not convinced either. Where things really go off the rails for me is considering how Hollywood is. If we learned anything from Weinstein, it's that Hollywood isn't exactly a consensual kind of town. Watch An Open Secret. Just watch it. It'll break your heart, but you need to see it. I might have been tempted to stand on principle here. I might have been disposed to believe these men when they said that it was shock humor done badly. However, these wretched sacks of pus have been constantly haranguing half the country for over 2 years for being racist, sexist, anti-gay, rape culture Nazis because Trump. Glass houses. If you're using ethics against people who you disagree with on, say, border policy, but you've been saying things that are far, far worse, then you'll get no leeway from me. In all honesty, those men have been pushing outrage culture. Those guys said old tweets are fair game. Those guys said it's a joke isn't a defense. Those guys said it's okay to fire people over tweets. They made this bet. I'm not standing up for people who called people I love Nazis because they voted for Trump. Thank you for coming tonight. Two of you have. And, while I don't have any love for pedos, I do think that it's important to make sure that you have due process. Kirk Towers, I think it's important that we make sure. I don't think they did. I love the pun. Thank you. You cheered me up quite a bit there, Kurt. Thank you very much. It's like the only thing I'm worried about in this situation is due process. It's like holy cow, networking there is you're at the ER. Guys, pray for networking there. Pray for Dom. He's at the ER. That's important. He needs some prayers. Whatever's he's at the ER for. I'm going. So I think that in this situation, anger is the proper response. And I'm not going to apologize for being livid, furious. It's like, I'm not surprised, but it just beggars belief that these guys can go up there, grandstand and moralize at us, tell us tell us that we're awful, tell us that we're deplorable, and it's like, I didn't even vote for Trump. I voted for Hopper. Hopper's a good boy. Make a great president. But these guys, they go up there and they moralize, they chastise, they speak down, they look down their noses at us, and they act like they're the moral arbiters, they're the priests. They're the ones with the direct revelations straight from God himself to tell us all how to live our lives and how to do it morally without hurting anyone else. And then this nonsense. This. So, I don't think that I'm going back to the cinema this year. It's been almost 2 years since I started my boycott. Haven't been to the cinema. I haven't bought any DVDs. I haven't bought any digital movies. I haven't done any of that. I haven't given the non-consensual town of Hollywood a single red cent. I think that the whole entire place is tainted at this point. And again, if you haven't seen the documentary An Open Secret yet, it'll break your heart, but you have to see it. The funny thing, Kurt, is what they do is they're outspoken about something that is bad, and they go and they point the finger at something else, at something else being done by someone else. So then that way, nobody looks at the glass house that they're living in. Nobody looks and sees what's inside. Like maybe if they weren't constantly moralizing, maybe if they weren't constantly saying that certain jokes are just unacceptable, maybe if they weren't saying that certain ideas just can never be talked about, certain people just shouldn't be allowed to speak, maybe if they weren't saying that all the time, because well, if you make a joke about racism, that means you must be a racism. If that wasn't their position on racism, then I might be inclined to believe them. Maybe I might be a little bit closer to believing them. Maybe if that wasn't their position on racist jokes or racial jokes. If their position on jokes about race weren't that makes the comedian, the comic, the jokester, the joke writer, the tweeter, whoever's making the joke. If that wasn't their position about racial jokes, then maybe I might believe them when they say that no, I'm totally not for this when I joke about it. If they point at Owen and say that the punch out joke is racist because it has the unspeakable word in it, just because it has the unspeakable word in it, that makes the joke racist and Owen racist. If that's their position, if that is their position, and it was, I remember Michael Ian Black specifically. Michael Ian Black, that snake, well, that's not fair to snakes, because snakes are just snakes. They just hunt and ambush rats and stuff. They're actually kind of cool animals. But that vicious son of a... Man, it is really difficult to not cuss. Michael Ian Black. I remember him. He was Twitter fighting with Owen over this, and that was his position on Owen's jokes. On Owen's jokes during the Emmys, I think, or the other award show no one watches. The one that had Get Out in it. It's not Emmys, is it? What's that award show? Can either of you tell me what that award show was called? What? Anybody know what it's called? Anyone at all? Yeah, I get, yeah, those ones. That awards. The Grammys. So, yeah, neither do I. I don't watch TV either. But Michael Ian Black specifically went after Owen for his jokes, where he said every time they say something nasty about white people, I'm saying the same exact thing about black people. He said what he was doing. He showed them the joke, and his position was that Owen was racist because of that. Well, by your own logic, Mr. Black, you must be a pedophile. So if you are being honest about jokes needing to be taken seriously, because joking about a thing means endorsing the thing, if that's what you actually think about jokes, like you were saying, then maybe the FBI might want to take a look at you. But yeah, like I said at the top of the show, sometimes anger is the proper response. And I don't mind saying that I'm livid at this. I really, really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. I liked them both. I think that the first one is actually better, but I don't know. I'm prejudiced against sequels, I guess. I really enjoyed it. And now, if I watch it, I'll be thinking about I'll be thinking about Gun. I won't be. It's like, what does I Am Groot mean now? Is it that thing about fisting? Is that what I Am Groot means now? I can't watch him without thinking about that guy. I can't watch him without thinking about those tweets, about those alleged jokes. I don't know what I don't know what they're supposed to be. Like I can't read his mind, obviously. But I know I wouldn't joke like that. No one I know would joke like that. And be like instant ostracization from any group I'm involved with to joke like that. At all. I mean, seriously. I mean, you can make a joke where the pedo is the butt of the joke. You can mock the pedo. They deserve to be mocked, of course. But like trying to make a joke where the victim of rape is the butt of the joke, or the murder victim is the butt of the joke. Like, yeah, yeah. And after all this, Trump is the bad guy because he's saying that when you're rich and famous, there are groupies who will consent to genital grabbing. That's basically what he said. You know, when you're a billionaire, they let you do it. Anything that you want. Well, you know what? If I had piles of money, I bet you I'd have gold diggers throwing themselves at me. I'm not so ugly that wouldn't happen. You know what? I bet you there are like women rich people who have gold digging guys throwing themselves at them. Probably a little bit less susceptible to them, but I bet you they exist. I know that cougars are a thing. Like some rich women just want a boy toy. And I know that cougar hunters are a thing as well. I've met a few of them. They're kind of weird. I don't like them. I don't like cougar hunters. They're weird. Hey, I welcome, Lily Dilly Dog. Welcome. Just got everything about the James Gunn, Michael Ian Black, Rick and Morty guy. Just got all of that off my chest, and I'm still angry about it. I'm just not. I've run out of things to say about them. I watched a little bit of Rick and Morty, but it got kind of boring quickly. Science jokes are all mostly hackneyed and get almost all the science wrong. I don't know what they're talking about. It's like a Wikipedia science. And on top of that, Wikipedia science is better than the science they're using. It's like, I really hate it when things like this happen. Because as you guys know, I'm a big fan of art. I love it. It's especially visual art because I can't do it. I love visual art because it's something that my hands can't do, but my heart is moved by it. And I love stories because I understand them. I can crawl into them. I can make my own stories. They're not half bad, guys. My stories are pretty okay. So, film, animation, it's like, man, I love it. I just love it so much. I just love to experience it so much. You go to the cinema and you get yourself a nice iced coffee and you sit there and you just have your friends and you have a grand time, and the film that makes you think or it moves your heart, then you can talk about it afterward. It takes in your brain for a couple weeks and it's just fantastic. I love it so much. But man, these people, they're just doing such awful things. Maybe it's really time. Maybe it's really time to maybe it's really time to start doing our own films. Maybe it's really time to start going hard at independent filmmaking, internet distribution. Maybe we can't go to the cinema anymore. Maybe the cinema has to die for a while. Maybe cinema has too much power, and we can't have that art form for a while because we let it get too corrupt. We let this get too corrupt. This is part of this is our fault as consumers for not being vigilant enough, for not withholding our money when we find out about things like this. So maybe it's time just to wash our hands of Hollywood and say we can't have this art anymore. We can't give this art any money anymore. We just can't do it. You're too corrupt, and we let it happen. We're sorry. So, and I think that the only way forward to have art again is independent. We're going to have to deal with lower production values for our stories. We're going to have to deal with consent. Art, the best art is consensual. That's why propaganda sucks. Paid for through force. I've decided I can't end my boycott of Hollywood. I've decided that even though I have a tremendous love for the cinema, I nearly cried on camera over the cinema and how terribly I missed it. Even though all that is true, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't give these people any money. I don't know who's next. Who's next? It's like, am I gonna wake up tomorrow and find out that another director of movies, of superhero movies, and we're gonna find out that they're doing horrible things or saying horrible things about children? Is that what I'm gonna wake up to next? Am I going to wake up and find out that uh, uh, some actor like Robert Downey Jr. has like 15 allegations against him or something? Is that what it's going to be from now on? Is it just going to be a sort of Russian roulette of depravity with these Hollywood types? It's like, how do I know if I'm giving my money to somebody who wants, who's okay with saying these sorts of like, if I, these are things that would get me disowned from my family if I said them. So how do I know? How do I know who's next? How do I know when the system is flushed of all of this? So I think it's just time to say no more Hollywood. Just no more. If I want to if I want to experience a film, it's got to be an independent film. And that's just the end of the story. And I'm terribly sorry that that tonight's show is not exactly happy, which is probably why the title wasn't exactly inviting. I don't think that a lot of people were super pumped to come in, but I think I'm going to end the stream here. This has been Field Talk. I am the Field, also known as Field of Bears. Have a great night, and always remember that socialism always ends in starvation and genocide. Links to the social media follow places are in the description, and so is the PayPal link. All that good stuff. Like and share if you enjoyed. Hit dislike if you didn't enjoy. And comment with your thoughts later when it goes up. Have a great night.